Hi and welcome to my video, and with 2017 being over, I think we should take some time to reflect on just how many films were released last year. You had Logan, Dunkirk, Beauty and the Beast, Get Out and so much more. So this video is dedicated to the top 10 best films of 2017, and there may be some spoilers, but I'll try and keep that to a minimum. So these are the top 10 best films of 2017. And kicking it all off at number 10, we have Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Following on from the success of the first film, Volume 2 delves deeper into Star-Lord's past as well as other characters. Just like all Marvel films, this is packed with action and has loads of comedy just like the first film. But I felt like there were some jokes that just wasn't needed, as we were learning more about Star-Lord's family as well as the relationship between Gamora and Nebula, and we even learned a little more about Rocket. But we can all agree that Baby Groot is the real reason Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 made this list, and that is because he's just so darn cute.
Groot, get out of the way, you're gonna get hurt! Hi!
And at number 9, Pitch Perfect 3, the third film to be added to the franchise, but personally I'd wish there'd be many more. Just like the first two films, it's filled with comedy and has a great soundtrack. But something of this film really surprised me, and it's an action scene. Is there anything Rebel Wilson can't do? We even learn more about Aubrey and Fat Amy's dad, which is a really interesting aspect I think they took. There is something wrong with this film, and it's that it's really predictable, and there's a scene in it which is very similar to something that happens in the second film, but that's only minor, and the comedy and jokes shared between Anna Kendrick's character Becca and Brittany Snow's character Chloe really makes up for it.
I brought this just in case. Oh god.
How's Christmas with your mom?
Oh, you know, it's okay. It's okay, I guess. Yeah. I mean,
At number 8, A Bad Mom's Christmas, the sequel to Bad Moms, and in this one you've got the Mums, and honestly it is just as funny as the first one, maybe even more so. I cannot find a flaw with this film. You've got a nice Christmas festive feel with it, and just like the first one, it's the mums taking back their lives. You've got Mila Kunis, Kristen Bell and Kathryn Hahn. Let's just say their mums don't let them take back Christmas. They have their own idea of it and they just want to stick with that, and causes some conflict between them, and that is how the story develops, and that just increases the hilarity throughout. And at number 7, Spider-Man Homecoming, the debut of the new Spider-Man played by Tom Holland. I don't know whether it was his boyish charm or incredible good looks that kept me watching. Nerdy boy becomes a superhero. Where have I seen that before?
Hey, could you hold this for a second? Thanks. Hey, is this anybody's bike? No?
Just like all Marvel films, there's action, comic relief, and I wouldn't say a plot twist, but there was definitely something that made the whole audience gasp. At number 6, Beauty and the Beast, the live-action remake of the original classic. And I knew this film would be very heavily CGI based, and I was more concerned with how they would make the Beast look, whether they'd make him really realistic and almost scary, or if they would romanticize him. But I think they did an incredible job, and I couldn't have asked for a better actor like Dan Stevens to play him, as well as some of the other actors like Emma Watson, Ewan McGregor, Luke Evans, Josh Gad, Emma Thompson and so many more to name. As well as the amazing cast, everything is just so beautiful, from the settings to the costumes, and even the soundtrack really captures what Beauty and the Beast is about, and it's just as magical as the original classic.
At the end of the day, you're you and I'm me. And I know maybe there's still good in you, but let's be honest, our paths diverged a long time ago.
And at number 5, we have Thor Ragnarok, the third film to be added to Thor's story, and we see a lot of character development for him. Loki's still up to his same old tricks, and surprisingly, we learn more about Bruce Banner. I don't know what part was more traumatic for Thor. Was it Stan Lee giving that very dramatic haircut, or Hela destroying his hammer?
Possible.
Darling, you have no idea what's possible.
I think we can all agree that this is the best film out of all three of them, and for Thor and Hulk's characters, I think this one is the best film for them. because it was just funny throughout. And one thing I really didn't like about this film is like the epic battle scene. So every Marvel film has one big battle, and I really didn't like how this one played out.
Hey! We know each other. He's a friend from work.
At number 4, War for the Planet of the Apes, and honestly, I love this trilogy so much. I love each film and I can't decide which one is my favourite, so that's why this one makes the 4th spot, because right at the beginning of the film you are captured. There's words that come up and it summarises 2 films before, and it summarises what's happened to this point, and each film the apes are developing more and more through speech and emotions. And for Caesar, I think out of the 3 films, this one is the most like intense and saddest one for him.
You're him. You're Caesar. We've been searching for you for so long.
At number 3, The Book of Henry, and this is the most recent film I've seen, so it's very difficult for me not to put it in the top spot. But it starts off with a little happy family that wants to save the girl next door, and then it changes into like a dark thriller, and there's something that happens a quarter way into it which initiates that change.
They're gonna get so drunk right now.
I know. I heard that.
Despite how much I love this film, I have read some negative reviews about it, and it's that this film switches between a lot of genres. So at the beginning it's a family friendly film, but then it turns into like a dark thriller. And I feel like people overlook the main point of this film, and it's that violence is overlooked and there's something that should be done about it, and that's my favourite thing about this film.
Violence isn't the worst thing in the world.
What is then?
Apathy.
And at number 2, The Greatest Showman, and this one was actually going to be in the top spot, but then I realised the one that actually is there does belong there. So with this film, it has an amazing soundtrack, and Zac Efron, Hugh Jackman and Zendaya, I think they were perfect for their roles, and just everything, the dances, the songs, the acting in between, even the costumes and the sets, it was all just so beautiful to watch. And it wasn't necessarily sad, but it was just because it was so beautiful you felt like crying, if that makes sense. As well as all that, I really like the circus part of it. I mean, the whole film is really based around that, but just when you're actually in the circus and then you see them doing all the tricks and dances and all stuff like that. And for the moment you've all been waiting for, what made the top spot in the top 10 best films of 2017? Was it Dunkirk, La La Land, Justice League, Get Out, Murder on the Orient Express, Wonder Woman, Baby Driver, Daddy's Home 2, Logan, Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle, all the other films that came out in 2017? Well, you're about to find out. And at number 1, the best film of 2017 is Wonder Woman. And first I just need to start off saying this is a DC film and it is full of colour. I think it's got to be the first one I've watched where there's not just blacks and greys and blues and, well, darkness. Wonder Woman is played by Gal Gadot, and you've also got Chris Pine who plays Steve, and honestly I really love the chemistry between the characters in the film as well as the actors in real life. And well, I can't think of a formal way to say this, but Wonder Woman is a boss, pretty much. She kicks ass frequently and throughout. This film is filled with action sequences. You've also got a lot of humour where it comes from, well, her being a bit naive and she's not been in like the real world as such. And then she comes to London and she's got to try and fit in as a normal human being. There are many intense scenes just like the one that is playing, and you may disagree with the rest of my list, but I think we can all agree that Wonder Woman is the best film of 2017. So these are some of the best films that were released in 2017. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and if you're not already, please subscribe. Leave this video a like if you agree with my list, or tell me in the comments why you don't agree.
Stay here. I'll go ahead.